I'm not gonna lie, I did not realize I even started the stream. But we're live. I think when I made it public on the YouTube interface, it went live. What's up, guys? Oh, okay. What's up, JFix? Upstate, how's it going, guys? We're doing a Picofly install. Hello, hello. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. I'm not used to reading chat while working. Oh man, thank you. I appreciate that. Sotseg. Add you camera on the screen, please. Oh, you want my face cam on the microscope, maybe? Let's see. What's up, LA? It's my wife in chat. How do I mod you? Add as moderator. There you go. Now my wife can ban people. Good. Sounds low. Alright, I can fix that. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, please let me know how things are looking in terms of audio and everything, because we did some tests before, but never know. Let's see. Alright, let me know if that's a little bit better. Is that better? What's up, Ice Squish Worms? Falcon, how's it going, guys? Oh, thank you, JFix. I appreciate that, man. You're the best. It's so weird streaming. It's gonna be weird too for you guys because I'm gonna talk so much slower than than in my videos. What's up, Picotronics? Whoa, Rusty Russ, appreciate it, man. Testing the super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support, man. You guys are gonna have to forgive me working slow here. I'm dealing with the live for the first time nerves, so. SER. Oh, Swindon, what's up, guys? Yes, it is new, Lucas. Dang. 5 guys, I'm like, forgive me. I'm gonna be real slow with like figuring this streaming thing out. Thank you, Cerebral. I really appreciate that. I think he gifted 5 memberships. I just set those up, so I don't know if the icons are gonna look good and stuff, but we'll see. This is gonna be a real slow stream. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing? I'm thinking of maybe streaming every once in a while on Thursdays. I don't know if this is like a reasonable time to stream. I don't know like when most of my audience is hanging out, but it seems like there's a few people in here. Alright. One thing you guys are going to learn about me is I just absolutely hate thermal paste. It gets absolutely everywhere while working on stuff. I need to change my chat window. One sec. It's like really awkward looking over at my other screen. Can I put it here? What's up, Dan? JFix, thank you, man. Really appreciate the membership. Man, how do you guys stream? This is crazy. Alright. Thermal paste is 1,000 times better than liquid metal. That is accurate. You are correct. Alright, let's see. Wow, we got so many people in here. 48 people. Using the first one to use the emojis, JFix. Amazing. Alright. These tweezers are not like gripping well anymore. I think I cracked the top of these at one point. They used to be like significantly sharper, but they don't grip very well right now. I'm sorry guys, my chat is in such a weird spot right now still. Here we go. This is, oh wait, I moved it. It's so much better now. Let us repair, man. Thank you, Gear. Really appreciate the membership. Yeah, first one is absolutely nerve-wracking, Rusty. We're working through it. But we'll take it slow. And get this installation done. So we're doing a Picofly install today. Do you guys want the... Oh, anxious taking orders for Kamikaze? Then you probably shouldn't be doing it for now. That's my best advice for how you're feeling with that. Yeah, if you're concerned about it in any way, then, you know, get more comfortable with it before you offer that as a service. Because Kamikaze as a service is like, you got to be 100% confident in that. Because you can just drill straight through someone's motherboard. I don't show this on my videos, but I spend so much time cleaning thermal paste before I work on consoles. Which camera modules are you use for recording? I use, you mean like what kind of cameras, or like capture cards, or what? I got I actually don't even know that. It's a Lumix GH5, but it's like, it's not like a, that's for my overhead cam, but it's not like a normal camera. It's, well, it is, but like the sensor and everything is normal, but I think it's this specific model from Japan or something that they only used in like photo booths or something. So it doesn't actually have like, you can't record to a, what's it called? Like SD card, but it was really cheap because of that, and it works great. I just hooked it up to like a capture card. What's up, Abby? My sister's just in chat. See you soon. Yeah, my family's coming up. I don't have a whole lot of time to stream. I'm gonna be live for probably like another hour or so, so maybe we'll be able to finish this up. At this rate, probably not. But we'll see. Okay. Yeah, apologies guys. You guys are gonna see a whole different side of me working very slow as I get used to streaming. Alright, so with the Kamikaze method, we can do the whole thing without taking the board out, which is extremely nice. I guess first we can start with the SoC. Slow is good, yeah. Slow is good. All right. Especially when you have a pin in your hand. Remember once you showed off a card trick area? Do you plan on recording anything like that? Yeah, so I have a small obsession with playing cards. You'll see in the back here. I do a lot of, I used to, sorry, I don't really do a lot of it anymore, but I used to do a lot of card mechanics stuff before I got into repair. But now repair and YouTube is just taking up all of my time. No time for other hobbies. This is like so much different than doing this alone. I seriously don't understand how you guys do this streaming. Gonna do my first Kamikaze on video, not live, but I want to do it on camera. I know I can do it. Dan, good luck, man. I hope if it's your first time, I hope you're doing it on your own console. The amount of destroyed motherboards I get from Kamikaze attempts is unfortunate, but I believe in you. You can do it. How long does it take on average to do the Kamikaze method? Like the whole install or just Kamikaze method? Because like grinding into it, you know, could do it in like a few minutes, but the whole install usually takes me about, off of stream, probably about an hour or so on OLED consoles. I could do like 20 to 30 minutes on a normal V2, but this is mostly because I really take my time with like, well, you guys will see because I'll do it in the stream, but I essentially put like solder mask and I don't even think I showed this in my Kamikaze method like tutorial video, but yeah, I put like a bunch of mask obviously over the grinded out area, but then also like for the scratched off B point or the reset point, I put some extra like UV resin on that, and then also on the Kamikaze point itself. So it takes me a little while, honestly. But I don't like rushing OLEDs, especially because there's so much like I could probably get one done in 45 minutes if I like was trying to go fast, but you know, especially if I'm working on a customer device, I don't want to be rushing for no reason. Never a good idea to rush for repairs. Why gloves? Great question. 90% of the reason I wear gloves is because I work with leaded solder, and then flux. Like flux gets everywhere, especially if you ever use sturdy flux. After doing like a small repair or, you know, a normal job, take your UV light and just look all over your desk and your hands. Even if you're like very careful with the flux, it gets everywhere. Like it gets all over your hands. And your hands and skin like absorb stuff, and it's not good for you. So I like to wear gloves, especially, you know, working on customer devices. They're kind of gross 90% of the time, so also that gives me confidence that you're not super fast because I just started doing repairs recently. I'm slow. Yeah, it's good to take it slow. There's no reason to be rushing on stuff, especially when you're doing like trace repair and things. It's, you know, it's really easy to break things. So I'm going to do what I can about reading chat, guys. Still getting used to it. Cleaning flux is a nightmare to clean. Yes, absolutely. Whenever you're trying to clean thermal paste from like in between caps and stuff, getting like a not super stiff brush, but stiff enough brush that's like has small bristles, and then going with the grain of the caps, it's if you don't do that, it's just impossible to get the the thermal paste out. And I really like having this as clean as I can get it. Oh, I haven't showed you guys my new hot air station yet. That's gonna be for another video. But you'll see me using it today, a little bit. I actually don't use it much for this kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. Wow, there's 70 people in here? My goodness. I did not think that many people wanted to see me install a Picofly chip live. I'd use a nano sponge for mechanic. I actually don't like those too much. Like, I tried them out, but they're so... I use these things. They're the... I don't know how to pronounce this brand. Ma-Ant. M-A-Ant. I think it's Ma-Ant. But I love these. They're a lot more, like, thick. But I don't like using them for, like... areas like this where there's lots of like small components, because it doesn't really, I don't know, they don't really get in between things. I could try it. I like using, I found I got them because I wanted to be able to clean like in small areas, but I find they don't really work as well for that. They work a lot better on like flat surfaces. Pat Catman, I love the reviews. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. What mechanic solder wire would you recommend? Looking for 6337. Yeah, I mean, mechanic has 6337 solder. I use that for my thinner solder. Yeah, let's see. Because like the alcohol is getting everywhere, but the sponge itself, I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is going to work significantly better. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should use it more often. That looks a lot better. Thank you, Space Helm. Appreciate the support, man. Have you tried ordering directly from China instead of going through AliExpress? I have not really. I just buy from AliExpress, honestly. Why? Do you like message sellers directly or something? Peter, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about mod chip services. What are you talking about? Alright, let's get the B point here. Peter, fair enough. If you're interested, you can email me. I don't put stuff like that on my site for hopefully obvious reasons. Alright, so this is where I get the B point. I don't get it on since I don't want to take the board out. I forgot to show this point on, somehow I forgot to show this point on my actual OLED installation video. But yeah, that's an alternate B point, or a reset point for the chip. Alright, and I'm gonna use, where's my Ameo flux? I've been loving this stuff. This stuff here, the stuff I made or tested in the flux comparison. It's very versatile, I guess. Sounds American. Yeah, so I grew up in the US, but then I moved to Canada because I got married about 6 years ago. Almost 7 now. My goodness. That's crazy. Time goes way too fast. What is Kamikaze Picofly? So this is a chip that essentially just glitches the switch, and it lets you boot from payloads on the SD card essentially, and then you can, you know, install Linux or do whatever you want with it. So that's what we're doing today on this thing. And the Kamikaze method is just a way of getting one of the points that you need to connect to the chip. So one of the points is the .0 point, which is sort of difficult to get. So like unlike this point here that I just scraped back that I'm getting, this is the reset point. This is very easy to access on a few different places on the motherboard, whereas the .0 point is really only accessible from a like BGA, like a solder ball underneath the NAND. So they actually make, OMG, even your wife is here, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, my wife's hanging out. She's the mod currently, the only mod, so don't piss her off. Hello, M92. Is that the M92 chip? That's so funny. That's an incredible name. But anyways, let me see if I can. Does this? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this particular kit comes with. I'm not gonna use this, but I'll show you. So this is the .0 adapter. So this is what you normally would use if you're not going to do the Kamikaze method. You actually slot this underneath the NAND, and this little thing here makes contact with the solder ball, or at least that's the idea. These aren't really super great. They kind of fail over time if you drop the console, or you know, with humidity over time, or if you have like too much flux. Flux gets in between the solder ball and this, and it doesn't make a great connection. If you install this correctly, you can get it working long term, but the Kamikaze method is essentially, instead of using this to get that point, right around here, near this command resistor, let me see, let me get non-bent tweezers. Those are my junk tweezers. I use these to scrape back things because they're all bent up. But yeah, right around here, we'll do it in a bit, once my nerves calm down a bit, because I'm not digging into this board until I chill out. But yeah, this if you dig 3 layers deep into here, there's a little via or a little like trace that you can solder to, and that's gonna be the .0 point as well. So it's just a more it's a better way to solder directly to the point instead of having to rely on this adapter that comes loose all the time. Oh, Bodger was in here. I totally missed his comment. Bye, man. Thanks for joining. Chlor, I recognize you from my comments. I recognize like a lot of you guys. Thank you all for joining. This is a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to doing more streams. Obviously got to get used to it. And yeah. But we will make it happen. I used to actually stream scam baiting on, I don't know if you guys remember RPAN during COVID. But I used to stream scam baiting on RPAN, but it's been a minute. Alright, so we're just gonna get that tinned. This is not the best tip. I really need to get a better tip. I'm gonna start trying the JBC tips. I think I'm gonna make a video trying those out. They're so expensive. They're not like that expensive, but they're like, you know, if you're buying like, if you use like 2 or 3 different types or shapes, you know, you're down like what, like 100 Canadian, or like at least 80. It's pretty crazy. Like, it seems like the price of those tips varies widely or wildly depending on like what shape you get. Like some shapes are like twice as expensive, it seems. What's up, Gazi? How's it going? What's up, Liam? Welcome, guys. Welcome. All right. Oh, I'm so used to like doing this without showing everything I'm doing. Sorry, I'm tinning a little bit of wire to solder to that point there. So what I like to do with this is I'll tin it like with my iron, like get the enamel off. But obviously I don't want like that much tinned. You can't even actually see. The lighting is all horrible, but I promise a lot of it is tinned. But I only want like obviously, you know, a fraction of that showing. So I'll just tin it and then I'll cut the majority of it off with my ceramic tweezers. I don't have a good way of giving you guys a good angle on me doing that, but yo, Chipworks, I really appreciate the membership, man. Thank you, thank you. What size wire? So for this, I'm using, I think it's 38 gauge. Let me double check on that. Yeah, 38. I find it's a nice in between. Even that's like too much. I'm gonna cut a little bit more off. I really just want like, that's fine. I'm happy with that. And the flux helps stick it into place. I just sort of stuck it in the flux, dropped it. And then for stuff like this, I really like using one pair of straight tweezers and then a pair of bent tweezers. The straight ones just to hold it in place, and then the bent ones, especially because I don't use a stereo microscope. Eventually, I think I'm going to try out using like an optical microscope, but for now, I always have to make sure things are actually touching the damn board. So the bent tweezers are really good to like press down so that you make sure it's not like floating in the air. And then you can also use your iron for that too. Go-to jumper wire is 0.1 millimeters. Yeah, 0.1 is nice. I actually don't know what this particular wire is in millimeters. I only know the gauge measurement. My goodness. Come on, come on. There we go. Might not be super obvious that I'm nervous, but under the microscope it certainly is. Alright. Oh, come on. That's horrible. Let's try that again. Need a bit more solder on there. Gotta anchor my hands more. Listen to my own advice here. There we go. That's better. Oh, 38 gauge is 1 millimeter. Okay, thank you. Looks like 0.2 millimeter. I love the depth perception of my stereo microscope. Yeah, you know, everybody who has one, it seems like you can't go back once you use that. So I'm kind of scared because I've been using an optical or a digital microscope for so long. All right. So as I was saying here, we're gonna throw some UV resin on here. I just want to make sure the wire, like over here where I want to put the resin, is actually kind of touching the PCB, and it is mostly. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna grab UV resin. That's a nice joint. Thank you. It's a nervous joint, but it's a nice one. Morning from Phil. Good morning, Phil. Where are you that it's the morning? Let's see, that's gotta be... I guess if you're 12 hours ahead and you're doing great, natural streamer. Really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. All right. Did you get an Atten? I did not get an Atten. I'm not gonna spoil it yet. You guys, if I end up showing it on screen, you'll probably be able to figure out what it is. But it's actually, I didn't know about this station honestly before I got it. But I'm excited to show it to you guys on a video. Why there if you can cut the trace more closer? I don't know. Oh, you mean like closer to the chip? You know, that never occurred to me. Actually, I probably won't do that just because it's... I don't know. That just seems like more of an annoying spot to grab the point. If you mean like, why don't I grab it on the via here instead? I'm honestly, my answer is I never thought about doing that. But now that I think about it, I think I wouldn't because it's just kind of an awkward spot to solder in. So this is just a bit easier. But good question. That never occurred to me, honestly. I don't know why. And also on the via is a lot nicer to solder to than on like the exposed trace, and it's more like sturdy too. You know, if somehow it gets yanked on and stuff. But we are going to put some UV resin in place right now to prevent that. If I can get myself together here. So I'll always, like for this, because you don't want to put like tons of this on. Same with solder mask. I always put this stuff on my desk first. I used to put it on like the tip of a X-Acto, but there's not really any, I realized there's not really any good reason to do that. But I've been putting it like just on my desk over here. And then I just use these little probes, dip it in like a tiny bit. It's a lot more controlled doing this than, you know, and I don't have to put it on the board and clean it up after and stuff. I know some people put like a blob next to the working area, but I prefer this. And I actually think I want a little bit more resin. That's going to be not nearly enough. Let me just grab a bit more. What brand of wire do you use? I'm not going to lie, I have no idea. Let's see. It's called BN Tech Go. It's some Amazon brand, I don't know. Or some brand that sells on Amazon. It's just wire, man. Alright. So, I could cure this now, but I'm actually going to throw some... I like putting solder mask on the point as well. So we'll do that. And then we'll cure it together. Because why wait 1 minute twice when I can wait 1 minute once instead? Never to use digital, bought M-scope straight off the bat. Yeah. Yeah, I know, like, for a fact it's going to just be objectively better, but... I mean, I don't mean that, like, in the sense that, like, I think you can absolutely... Well, I have gotten away with using digital microscope for a long time, and I really, really enjoy it. Especially, I don't particularly like being leaned over. The working area too much, but especially with like fumes, it's nice that you can be a little bit like more what's the word? Come on, I'm trying to get some. There we go. Just trying to get some on the other side of that wire. That's good enough for me, and we can cure that. I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, digital versus stereo. Digital is a lot easier for some things. General purpose type of scope. Yeah. I don't know. I love my working distance and stuff. I'm gonna have to, like, if I get a stereo microscope, I'm gonna have to like spend a lot of money. I don't particularly want to do that right now. So one day. I used to have digital, but since I have trinocular with cam for board check, I can't go back. Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would grab a trinocular for sure. Because I need the screen, obviously for videos too. But couldn't get used to optical. Oh, really? Did you just prefer digital, Bogdan? Thanks to your videos, I'm also using brand mechanic for flux and solder. Are you still using it? Oh, actually we'll use it today if I end up doing the Kamikaze method in the stream. At this rate, I don't know if I'm gonna have time. But yeah, I use this for specifically for like when I need to see through the flux and use flux at the same time. This stuff is super nice for that. But I have been messing around with, as you've seen in my flux videos, I've been messing around with some other kinds of flux. Recently, I've really been enjoying this stuff for like super tacky flux, the MG Chemicals, specifically the 8341, not the second one I tried in my other flex video. That one was real interesting. Someone, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but I tried out some MG Chemicals flux that was like super brown, and it just like exploded while I was using it. It was just like fizzling and boiling and splattering everywhere. And someone, I think, figured it out. I think it's probably for more like, well, I think it's a has like higher activity than the other kind of flux I generally like. Okay, I don't know if this actually cured. Let's see. Sometimes my battery powered thing dies. Okay, it did cure a bit. I'll hit that one more time with it plugged in. I also have to, I would prefer to throw a little bit more on top of that. This thing is nice because when it's charged, but it honestly, after a little while of using it, the battery like power is not great. So I end up just having to plug it in probably 30% of the time anyways, which is obviously kind of annoying. Cause it like works, right? But it's just not like powerful enough to cure unless you plug it in or use it like right after you charged it. So let's get this thing plugged in. Let me put a little bit more on there. Guys, I promise I work much faster when I'm not streaming. This is obnoxious. What are you curing exactly? So this is I'm curing two things right now. One of the things on the left there, the clear one that you can probably barely see now, that's UV resin, and the point of that here is to prevent, like if I tug on this wire, you're gonna see where, actually I won't tug on it yet because I just want to cure it one more time with the actually high powered UV light instead of my dying battery UV light. Let's try that again. You can see, I don't know, you won't be able to see the difference actually because I didn't show you it before. Actually here, you might be able to see here. Watch what happens when I unplug this. You can't see that. Also, it probably charged it enough to like, but sometimes what will happen is when I unplug it, you'll visually see it dim quite a bit. I have one of those that has only ever worked on USB cable. Didn't even know it had one. Okay, well, so there's two kinds of this. There's the L1 that doesn't have a battery that you do have to plug in, and then there's the L1 Pro, which has a battery. But to be honest with you, just get the one without the battery. Save yourself the money. I just plug it in anyways. What's up, 8-Bit? Chris, how's it going? I didn't see you in here until now. It's me who commented that. It's way too acidic. Yeah, Orion, I think it was you. You pointed out that it's more active. Or someone mentioned that it was like for potentially used for I don't know, like bigger jobs, not like microsoldering, which I think is probably accurate. Actually, I should probably leave this plugged in because we're gonna use it later, potentially. God help me find desk space. All right, cool. So after like an hour of soldering one wire to the board, we're gonna solder the SoC flex cable, I think, next. So let's do that. So that is gonna be over here. And we're gonna use this one. Perfect. Good. And I gotta change my tip because I can't stand using the bent conical on this. All right. So, some flux here. And for those caps, I'm gonna use 375. And then for the, my iron is not calibrated. Someone in my comments keeps yelling at me to calibrate my iron, but I can't, because if I do, it just changes when I change my tip. So I just got used to my poorly calibrated iron, and it's gonna really throw me off. All right, let's get this thing centered. I hate when this is not centered. See, this, as much as I actually really like this flux, I'm so used to, I was so used to using that clear mechanic flux because I used it for a little while, where you could like see through this. Now I have to like melt it a little bit first to you know, to be able to see. Come on, there we go. This joint looks a little nasty. That's better. The YCS is only 3 watts, while the mechanic L1 is 7 watts. Oh, YCS, yeah, there's so many like curing lamps. I'm really happy with mine. It's just, I just need to plug it in and use it, honestly, instead of Jesus. Come on. That one on the left looks fine. I just want to, there we go. Makes me happier. Is Orion less is safer for eyes? Oh, you're talking about for the UV light. Yeah, don't want to be looking at those. Honestly, like sometimes I'll catch my eye with that UV light and it's not good. That cannot be good for you. Oh, I forgot to turn up my, oh, that actually worked out fine. I like turning up my iron temp here because this shield just takes so much heat away from the iron. That's a little bit more than I wanted to put on there, but there we go, that's fine. Happy with that. All right, that looks good to me. And we can clean this up. Also, one of the things I really like about this flux is that it takes a long time to like dry to like a gross consistency. A lot of flux, like as soon as you use it, like as soon as, you know, room temperature, as soon as it gets to like room temperature, the flux just like hardens significantly. But this still remains a bit liquid and it's easy to clean. Love your channel. Thank you, Moody. Appreciate that. Have fun at work, man. Thanks for watching. Alright, we're just going to heat this up a little just to make it a bit easier. Alright. IPA. And Q-tips can be nice. May I ask what you would charge for repairing a Switch OLED if I would ship it from Germany? Trying to install Pico myself, but I think what do you think you like broke? Because it's gonna highly depend on, you know, like what's wrong with it. Like if it's just, you know, like do you have ripped traces? What's the state of it? So like generally speaking, I'll try to like charge somewhere around like 150 to 175 US for like repair on top of if you want me to do a reinstallation. But if it's like, you know, ideally I'll try to stick to 150. If it's an easy repair for me, I won't go too much higher than that. But you know, some people just completely. Capacitors on the next step you're gonna do. So are you talking about like up here, like the 3.3 volt caps here, or the resistors here, or what? Does he have a thermal camera? I do have a thermal camera. What's up, Ace? I love your streams, by the way. Learned a lot from your streams. Oh, I hate how difficult it is to clean under this stupid flex cable. Flux just gets so trapped. And it just doesn't matter what kind of flux I use, it's just always so hard. Alright, I'm mostly happy with this for now. We can move on. Show off the P3 camera. Here, yeah, I'll show you. This is the thermal camera I have right now. It's the ThermalMaster P3. Really happy with it. It's got like a focus ring. It's essentially, I think it's the exact same thing as the P2. It just has like a focus ring. So you can kind of go at the distance from the board that you want to. Do you want me to use it? Sure, I can use it. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta set this up on my phone. I really can't stand their PC software, to be honest. But I'm happy to test it out with you guys. I'm actually curious to test this because I need to make sure this works well with streaming. Give me 2 seconds here. Let's see. Just fully transparent, they sent me this camera. I paid for the P2 Pro, or yeah, P2 Pro is what I used to have, and I love that camera. I would recommend that camera all day. But this one is like not that much more expensive, and it is nicer. It's kind of big compared to the P2 Pro, but the P2 Pro is also just so small. Here, let's see. Here's my P2 Pro. Do you guys know? So there's the infrared thermal cameras like the P2 and P2 Pro, and then there's the ThermalMaster ones, and they look exactly the same, and they both work with like the same apps and stuff. I don't know. I don't think they're the same company, but they have to be the exact same product. Just like, see, like they have the exact same thing with the macro lens. I have no idea. P2 or P3, which to buy? You know, like, honestly, like, if you're just looking for the cheapest possible, like, good thermal camera, this thing, I would say. I don't remember how much of a price difference this is. Let me just check quick. Oh, almost just threw that on the ground. That would have been really nice. All right, give me 2 seconds here. I just want to see. So the P3. Here, wait. I'll show you guys on the. Give me 2 seconds here. Let's get a browser open. So this one is 300. And then the P2 Pro is 270. Okay, so it's like a $30 difference. Honestly, like, for sure, I would say the P3 is like easily like it's worth the $30 extra if you are using a thermal camera enough, because you essentially like this just sort of like stays at a specific focus. You can't get like more in focus, if you will. But with the focus ring, it's really nice. Like if I hold this like at a medium distance, I can still get in focus. Whereas this, I can either be in focus here or like with the macro lens, or without the macro lens, you know, I have to be kind of higher up. Whereas this does everything in between. That's like the only difference. Okay, here, let me get this set up here. Sorry, I'm really slow setting this up because I haven't tried this yet. Well, I tried it on a video, but not for streaming, obviously. P3 is $270 on eBay. Well, there you go. Get on eBay. Perfect. Okay. So this should... Come on. All right. I have to also turn my phone off, or my rotation off, I mean. Rotation lock. All right, let's see. Let me get this in focus. Oh, you guys cannot see this. Sorry, 1 second. Give me 2 seconds here. Also, I'm still getting used to the direction I need to hold this. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is gonna look weird until I can get some heat into the board, because this color palette doesn't work really well with, okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, so here, let me zoom in on the, I'm like really still getting used to this focus ring, because I used to just use the P2. But yeah, here it is. Let me heat up the SoC a little bit just so you can kind of see. I'm just gonna use like 200-degree hot air. Actually, not even. It's like 180. There you go. A little bit easier to see. Yo, Rusty Russ, thank you for the membership, man. Really appreciate that. Good night, Lucas. Thanks for joining. In 3 to 5 years, there will be a pandemic of technicians who only use thermal camera for repair. Thermal cameras are really nice, but you gotta use them with context. You know, like you have to kind of know what I like to do is like, you know, get a working console that you're working on and look how it behaves like thermally with the thermal camera when you turn it on, and like see what normally heats up. Yeah, this is a really nice thermal camera. I like this thing a lot. And like I said, like if I want to go like medium distance, you can just change the focus ring. Whereas with the P2, it would just be so out of focus right now. So if you're trying to get like specific stuff in the shot, it's a little bit easier to do with this camera. I will say the focus ring is a little bit of a chore. Like, I don't know. Like the fact that with this one, I just have to like, it forces me to just adjust the distance. It's like one extra thing I didn't have to do before, but it's worth it, honestly, for the flexibility, I would say. Anyways, enough of this. Let's get back into the installation. I don't have a crazy amount of time left, but this thing is phenomenal. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I love this thermal camera. And honestly, like for the price, I don't think you're gonna get much better than either of those two. This, honestly, I think it's the exact same sensors. So it's just, I used to use this with the PC software, which doesn't have their software enhancement on it. So this, in my other videos, looked worse, but it's with the same app, it looks nearly identical in terms of like quality. It's just really the focus ring that's the difference. Yeah, stick to the don't. If you have the P2 Swindon, like, not worth buying another one for just getting a focus ring. By the way, 108 in here. My goodness, 108 people. I honestly did not know what to expect. I really appreciate you guys joining me. This is a lot of fun. I'm really excited to start streaming more. I think I'll do Thursdays. But we'll see. All right, let's do the Kamikaze part. I'm feeling fine about going for that now. Yo, thank you for the donation, man. W. Marin. Greetings from Costa Rica. Thanks for joining, man. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat. All right. Okay, I like to do it this way, just because I'm coming in with my right hand to dig into this, and I need to drink some water. Give me 2 seconds. I don't need it immediately, but once P3 gets down to 200, I'll buy it. Yeah, you can absolutely. Yeah, you don't need anything. I mean, even the P2 with the crappy software Orion is like 100% enough. You honestly don't even need that to, like, for diagnosis. It's just nice, I guess, like being able to see which O201 cap is heating, but you can just as easily just, like, once you find the heat spot, throw some alcohol on it. You really don't need like a high definition. Okay, that is way too much. I'm not putting that on there. Let me put some on my mat. So now I'm using the, for whoever was asking before, now I'm using the Mechanic Nanoflux because it's going to be way easier to see through here. And I put some on my mat and really want to make sure I don't confuse that and the clear UV resin, because UV resin does not work so good as flux. And they look exactly the same on my mat. Hey Nana, do you know about the recent Reddit megathread about solder stations that are stated the one you have is do not buy? Yeah, so this is something I need to address actually on a video. A lot of people have pointed out that this has like a voltage leak on it. I've done tests with it, and it does measure with AC voltage, like a high AC voltage, so it looks very scary. I'm 99% sure it's just phantom voltage. I need to like do some more research on this and open my station and do some more testing, but at first glance, like putting a resistor, like putting a load on it, it just drops immediately all of the voltage, and the current it pulls is like microamps. Like you can't measure it almost. So even if you're working on like a grounded board, you're like, which is weird to do, but you're not gonna break anything with this. But I do want to do a deep dive into that because a lot of people are asking about that, which is totally fair, and I think people deserve some answers there. I personally have no problem using it. I think there's risk tolerance is yeah, it's a very complex topic, Orion. You're right. It's not as simple as saying, it's safe or it's not. You have to like decide what kind of risk you want to take as a technician with, your tools. And I personally, am okay with using this iron. I have no issues with it, even after testing quite a bit. But yeah, I do not think it's a voltage leak. It's rather phantom voltage due to capacitive coupling in the power supply. You absolutely can argue that, a properly grounded iron is better to use. I'm not going to disagree with that, but the risk it poses, in my opinion, is extremely small, like to nothing. And I was honestly thinking of putting a bounty on someone purposefully breaking something with it and proving that the iron broke it, but we'll see. Okay, so the clear flux here is not for flux purposes. It's seriously just to catch debris, because using the grinding pen here, there's, you know, we're going to be going through 2 ground layers, the top one here, and then there's one more we have to go through before we reach the that 0 point. So here, one sec. So yeah, we're gonna grind 3 layers deep. Actually, so we're gonna grind the top layer, which is really just like solder mask, and then you'll start to see the copper exposed here. It's important when you're doing this to note that the like space in between the like trace on the right here and this ground plane actually is like lower than the trace, like, because there's no, it's just substrate, there's no trace in between here, so you don't actually have to grind that at first, you know, if you're just going 1 layer at a time. So yeah, first layer is the substrate, or sorry, the solder mask, and then we're going to grind through the copper traces here a little bit. I'm not going to go, I always like to cut into this one a tiny bit just for like centering purposes. But yeah, we're just going to go 1 layer at a time here, and really want to ground, or not ground, sorry, anchor your hands when you're doing this. And the area you want to grind is like a little square here. If you're doing it for the first time, you should do a bigger area to make sure. But again, I like to go right up next to this trace, just hitting it a little bit, and I do a little square. Just like that. That's like exactly the area you want to grind out. I might need to do a little bit bigger. Sometimes, you know, you gotta expand it, but we can do that if we need to. I don't remember who it was, but whoever was asking about a repair, just hit me up on my email or my contact form, and I can help you out. Oh, my the speed is screwing me up because I'm touching the actual all right, and then from here you got to just get through the substrate, or to the substrate, I mean, so you can see it there on the bottom, and on the left now you can see it, and on the top. And now I'm just going to grind out the middle and get to the next layer on the side, bottom, top, and then we can clean here too, because I'm going to start throwing debris everywhere. But you can see how well this like collects all of the copper. It's not going all over the board. People watching this have no idea how tiny these caps really are without the microscope. Yeah, it's a real small. Oh, thank you, LA, for putting the contact form up. Hey, am I in the 8-point solder to the resistor in front of the triangle? Is there some other method? Yeah, so actually we're gonna do that in a sec. We do need to grab the command point from there, but we're gonna do this first because that's gonna get in our way. You can see it does still sort of spread copper dust around, so you gotta make sure that doesn't, you know, get underneath the SoC or something. So this is through the first layer. Basically, we're seeing the second layer of the traces. But yeah, I like the flux trick. That's effective. Yeah, it's really effective. Sometimes if you like, I like to set my grinding pen to a low speed, because if you use a high speed, it just like flings the flux that has all of the conductive stuff in it all over the place, which is obviously not ideal. But yeah, we're gonna put a little bit more flux there. Finished the mod 2 hours ago and it's working perfectly. Nice job. Thanks for the Picofly guide. I'm so happy it was helpful. Yeah, a lot of people have been super nice with feedback on those. I'm really glad with how those turned out. Okay, so now we're gonna get through this layer of copper on all 4 sides. So you can see I'm through there, through on the left, through on the top, and through in the middle. And then we can clean up. It's always a good idea to clean like with every single layer that you go through. And I can already see, you can see the .0 point there. So I'll probably try to like grind a little bit lower to the left because I want to try to expose that entire point, and it's going to be a little close to that ground layer. So, but yeah, Shadow Storm, nice job on the install. It's not a especially if that was your first one. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay, more flux on here. When I was just starting on these, I grinded like quite a bit bigger of an area, but now I'm getting a bit more used to where this is. All right. So I'm gonna try to just grind out this corner a little bit more because I don't really want to risk shorting to the you can see how close that point is to the ground layers. It's actually not too bad. Let me just hold up, let me just clean that with a new Q-tip. I think that's actually pretty good. We're obviously, yeah, okay, I thought it was to the left more. That's fine. I'm happy with that. And then I'm gonna, you can actually use, I was gonna show this, I forgot to show this, but you can use a UV light to kind of see through the substrate a bit. So you can see only a portion of that is exposed compared to like the whole thing. There's still some substrate above, like on the top and on the left. I'll probably leave that little bit of substrate on the left there just so that I don't have to worry about that shorting to ground. But we will grind a tiny bit on the top there. And I'm not going to put any more, what's it called? Flux, because I'm not going to be grinding the actual, Jesus, sorry, my microscope is shaking for some reason. And my hand is shaking. And I don't want to be grinding through that whole thing. All right, there we go. Oh, no wonder my microscope's shaking. It's on the edge of the, it's like fully extended. Here, give me a sec here. All right, this is going to be a little bit easier. There we go. All right, so right there. That's all we need. Any reballing? No reballing for this install. We can do some reballing in a future stream for sure. But fortunately, I don't have to do any reballing in this stream or for this install. All right. So next is getting some solder mask to cover the exposed traces and like ground layers in here. I also see how like there's a big gap between the ground layer here and this trace here. That's good. We really want these to be like, we want to be 100% sure this is not shorting to ground essentially, because this is an important trace. And I did go a little bit further through that than I wanted to, but what about grinding bit in shape of a ball? I don't like the bigger grinding tips, honestly, especially like it just makes me feel like I don't have as much control. It's just a personal preference, honestly. Rusty Russ. Yeah, LA did. My wife just popped a link to the coffee thing. I don't have like a outside of that donation specific PayPal thing. Okay, let me get the solder mask in here. This is always really annoying to do because it always likes to just cover up the point. Okay, that actually was ideal. The part that was closest to the point is covered mostly. All right. Because as soon as I cover this up, I hate scratching this thing after to get the, unless it's like a really thin layer of mask. I don't like, I just prefer not to scratch that because it's like so small, you know? I have no idea how to set up command. Yeah, if you want to throw, please, by all means, LA, throw up, if you can figure it out. Create all the commands you want. Okay, that is not at all where I wanted that to go, but that's where, oh, okay, I thought that was just going to cover up the point fully. That is actually perfect, and I'm going to cure that before it just covers the point. Stream elements. I missed a lot of phone calls. I love that. Actually, that emoji actually works better than I thought it would. I put a emoji of my cat Anakin. Here, let me see. I also put me thinking as one. I like this one. Nano think. Oh, Carther coming in clutch with the commands. Yeah, we don't have stream elements. Oh, I see. So it's not like commands aren't like that makes sense. I need to get that stuff set up. LA, don't bother looking into that yet. I don't think this timer's on. I think I don't know. We'll give it a sec. I might have just turned it. Oh yeah, it was. Okay, it was on. Starting an electronics repair and don't have the money to buy a microscope and was wondering what to buy first once you get the money. To be honest with you, I don't have an incredible recommend. I've only have ever used this digital microscope, and it's my setup is not like, I got it for cheap, but if you want to, you can't buy it as a kit anymore. You have to buy the stuff separately. I got it as a kit on Amazon, but they don't sell it anymore, unfortunately. And if you buy all the parts separately, it's a little overpriced, honestly, in my opinion. This camera's really good. Really, really good for the money. So if you're looking for a digital scope, this is a solid camera. It's the Hey-Year. I actually don't remember that. It's on my tool video, which I think... LA, did I put that in my description? The tool video? Because I'm going to probably have to reference that quite a bit. Upstate, you got the stuff separately. Was it not too bad? Like, did you get the stand and everything too? I love this microscope. I feel like I've been recommending the lens and everything, but the stand feels like a bit extra for how much it is, to be honest. But I like the stand. It's very sturdy. I'm happy with it. Okay, so this is looking good. Let me, I still have to cover a little bit on the top there. Thank you, LA. I need to put that in my description. Oh, LA, are you watching on, if you're watching on like your phone or your laptop, on the desktop, you could probably pop that in my description. I don't know if that's, don't stress too much. But yeah, MBXQ, I would say like, just do some research, look around at it. You know, if you want to get a digital scope, just look around at reviews and find something. I honestly don't have a great answer for you, unfortunately, because I'm very chill, no worries. Yeah, I haven't like used a lot of cheaper microscopes, to be honest, and you can absolutely get away with like using somewhat of a cheaper scope. What I will say though is from what I've seen, those like cheaper Amazon ones that have the screen embedded in the like lens and stuff generally aren't like, they don't look amazing. Joey has one. Joey Does Tech has one that looks incredible. I don't know. Like, I guess it just depends. I don't know how much the one he has is. I personally don't really like the ones with the embedded screens. I like being able to, you know, do HDMI output to a screen. Who's Joey? Blind Passion. Welcome back, man. But yeah, his his scope is really nice from what I've seen for it being one of those like seemingly more like reasonably priced scopes, for lack of a better word. But yeah, I personally I really prefer like the dedicated microscope camera with like a really nice, like invest in a nice lens, because that's really what's gonna make a difference is your lens. In my tool video that LA linked above a little bit, I have a link to this lens as well as the Barlow lens and the light, and that is really what makes, and like the camera obviously too, is what makes the biggest difference. If you get like, I recommend doing something like this if you're going digital. If you're going optical, I can't help you because I haven't used one yet. Okay, sorry, let's keep going on this. So lens you recommend is great, the Barlow as well. Yeah, I love my lens a lot. The zoom lens is just it's just beautiful. I've never had issues with it, and it's so like nice to use while I'm working, like just zooming in and stuff. Once you get used to it, it's really nice. Okay, let me clean this. I'm like, do you have an optical zoom? Yeah, so it's an optical zoom. I actually never use the digital zoom. I think I can digital zoom. I just never use it. But I can zoom in relatively far. That's the max zoom. I have never really had. There's like once or twice maybe where I wish I could zoom farther. And I think part of the reason I can't zoom farther is because of the Barlow lens I have on here. Actually, let's see. Actually, no, I'm not gonna bother with that because it's just gonna take too long to. I have to readjust my scope like pretty far down if I do that. Where's my brush? Where'd my brush go? What the heck? Oh, it's it's right next to the Switch. I was looking for this. All right. Cool. So let me just dry this out. And I'm happy with that. Actually, yeah, I'm happy with that. I might put a little bit more actually on the, you can see like, I'm a little bit anal with this sometimes, but you can see like how thin the layer of solder mask is over like the trace here that's exposed. Maybe you can't see that too well. You can see it better from this angle at the bottom. It's definitely insulated, but I'm going to be having enameled wire soldered to this, like, and I'm going to try my best to have the tinned area only on the point, but it's possible that like a tiny bit gets tinned, and then I don't want it rubbing against this and shorting to ground, so I'm going to put a tiny bit more. I prefer it just to be a bit of a thicker layer on the left area. Again, I'm sorry guys for how slow I'm working here. Just trying to get used to the streaming thing. But I'm having a good time. Hope it's enjoyable to watch. I'm gonna yeah, I'm happy with that, but I don't like when there's like a huge bump underneath the flex, because I'm gonna put a flex cable under here or over here afterwards. Okay, that's a lot more of what I was looking for. Let's just go with that. How do you prevent flux smudge when you put the flux pointing down in the container? I don't actually understand the question. Do you just mean like if I, oh, like this kind of thing, where if I put it down in the holder? I don't. There's just like a pool of flux underneath it. I have to clean that thing. It's there's probably all sorts of like solder mask that just dripped out under the bottom of it. Do you have a Discord server? I do not yet. Yeah, I'm on a few of the servers, but I don't have my own yet. I might eventually. What's up, Microsoft Blind? How's it going? I bought the Mechanic MOS 8K. Is that like a camera? I saw that Mechanic's been doing a bunch of microscope stuff. I haven't looked into it too much. All right, let's get a wire solder to this, huh? Again, I like using the clear flux here because I'm soldering like far into that, and I also, especially when I put the wire on, I want to make sure that it's a what's it called? Solid joint. Hey from Montreal, how's it going? Not too far. All right. So what I generally do here is I like to tin this first by just like scraping at it with my bent conical like this. So you can just like kind of scrape it a bit, get it tinned so that solder likes to, ooh, I did not mean to do that. Solder likes to stick to it, you know, more. And then, so you can't really see that super well, but there is solder on there. You'll see it better when I go to solder a wire to it. But what I like to do is get more, actually I'm gonna clean that out because we're gonna put some, what the hell is it called? Solder paste, that's the word. That took me a while. We're gonna put a little bit of solder paste in there because this is like pretty far into the PCB, and it's really annoying to solder to without using solder paste. So I like just getting a bit of solder paste on. That's a lot, obviously, but I'm hoping not all of that actually falls off of this probe here. Okay, that is plenty. I do need to push it down into there, though. My multimeter has a multimeter. All right, let's push this down in here. That is wonderful. I'm gonna pull the tiny bit that's like, I'm gonna try at least, it's like up here off, because I don't really want that much. That's fine. Okay, and now high airspeed, like highish airspeed and decently high temperature, because I don't want to hold the heat on here for super long because it's still in the console, and I obviously don't want to apply a lot of heat like to the screen. Come on, I'm still getting used to this hot air station. There we go. That's so satisfying every time. Perfect. So that just heated the board, and if I feel the screen underneath, I don't feel anything. It's like maybe a tiny bit warm, but especially because we're, you know, doing the installation still in the console, you do not want to be using hot air for extended periods of time because you'll just damage the screen real quick doing that. But this solder melts at a very low temperature, so. All right. All right, so I'm going to grab some of this wire again, and I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to tin a large portion of it, and then cut off, you know, the excess, because I just want like the very, very tip of it tinned. I'll kind of show you a little bit of what I'm doing here, so you just can't see that. It's just too small. I can do it under the microscope. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. All right, so you can see like I tin about this much here, and then I'm gonna just take ceramic scissors and cut like that much, so you can see just the tip of it is tin now. That's perfect. That's all we need. Then we're gonna pop that down in there, and flux is our friend here. Otherwise, the clear flux, especially here. Otherwise, the wire just goes everywhere. So I just stick it in the flux and then drop it, and then get in focus. JFix. I am actually kind of curious to I might give that a shot on the on the next flux video. We'll see. We will see. I have to pay like $50 for it though in Canada just to get it shipped. So it better be damn good flux. All right. There we go. Again, I just am using the bent tweezers to like push it down a little further, but we can also use the there we go. That is looking solid, and I'm gonna bend this away from the little area that's, you can see some of the solder mask when I slip with my iron is a little bit exposed, so I don't want that causing any issues. But and here I just like repeatedly put some IPA with the brush and then dry it out. Cool. Very good. And we're just gonna pull this down here, make sure it is touching the PCB, and we're gonna use a bit more of the UV resin to make sure this thing doesn't get yanked. So I'm just gonna go, okay, that is not really very clean. Let me just clean that one more time because that's not gonna stick well. We're talking about NF flux still. I'm actually like really surprised. It seems like he cut ties with MTech, like fully. Seems like he's just, I mean, it makes sense if he's selling his own flux, I guess, but still. He was working with them for a while. All right. So same thing here, just kill two birds with one stone. We're gonna put some mask, not a ton, but enough. And I'll put some over this little scraped area. Cool. Perfect, then we can cure this. Turco, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the stream. Oh. Does anyone actually like streams though? Like, I don't think I think once ever I've liked a stream. Maybe I'm a bad person. I don't take offense at all to that. I also don't even know how many there are. I don't even know where to look for that, to be honest. Is that on my... Oh, I see. What? That's not low. It was... Oh, maybe it's because someone said something about it now. Can I unlike? Feel free to. Please feel free to. My self-worth is not in my stream likes, fortunately. All right, so could put the grinding pen away. We don't need that. I'm really good at putting stuff away at the end of a job, but like I really need to be better at putting stuff away while I'm working on stuff. My desk gets to be. This is messy for me. I don't like having all this stuff out. Do you like your job? I love my job. It is a wonderful thing doing something you love. Highly recommend. All right, this is good. Let's finish this, huh? I don't want to dilly-dally more. Let's get this thing done. I need to get going. Okay, so that's good, and that's good. The most annoying parts. Let's get the shield here cut. So we got to cut the shield here. If you like it, it's not work. That is, there is some truth to that. There is also a part of that is somewhat of a lie. I love it, you know, but it can be work some days. I'm not gonna lie. It's still a job. But I can say that it feels like I'm working less because of how much I love it. Don't tell people that. You know, I bought most of the tools you recommended, and I'm very thankful for your videos. Hey, thank you so much for watching, man. Really appreciate it. I'm really glad that you found the videos helpful. Yeah, people may stop paying you. Yeah, I mean, like, it's work, you know? It's a job. I think there's stress in any job, even if you love it. But it doesn't have to be 99% of the time stressful. You can love what you do. And it can be only stressful, like, I don't know, 4% of the time or something. So we're just scraping the clock point here. I don't like using the grinding pen for that because it's just kind of extra. I don't have a very small tip for my grinding pen either, so I want more tools, JFix. Me every day. I lie to myself every day being self-employed. You have to. All right. Let's see. Really try to make sure I don't get. I already mixed up which of these piles here is flux and which of them is UV resin. So I'm not gonna guess, and I'm just gonna put. Oh, here we go. I'll use this flux. I don't know how I managed to forget that fast. That is not where I want flux. That is also a lot more than I wanted, but you know, whatever. There we go. Just need to get an actual blob on there. There we go. That's nice. Cool. Beautiful. That is perfect. Having enough tools means you have given up. Couldn't have said it better. Gear acquisition syndrome. You guys are enabling me, I swear. All right. Oh, and I suppose I forgot to clean this up. Or did I just not cure that? Did I seriously just not cure that? That's crazy. I think I put the UV light on it and it just was not on. Oh, that's so awesome. All right. That's amazing. All right, let's do that again. I know that this is the UV resin. Or maybe I tried using flux instead of UV resin. Right after explaining how you should not mix them up. All right. So after this, we're just going to add the OLED flex cable on there. And we'll be basically done. Bend the shield. UV flux. That Sturry, like the UV feature of that Sturry is pretty nuts. I still am finding like some of the flux I was using for the testing all over my bench with the UV light. Is it on? Okay, yeah, it's on. I was just double checking I wasn't not curing again. But yeah, so we're gonna put this on. We can, in the meantime, put these back in the bag. Actually, I do organize these. Might as well do that now. And I'll cure this again. Cure that twice. Okay, so we need that one. We put that away. We already used that. That I don't need. And wait, what? Where's my light? Oh, here we go. Didn't pull it out of the. Perfect. What kind of UV resin do you use? I use some Real Life stuff. If you ask LA nicely, she might go find a link for you. He ordered the whole of AliExpress last week. I haven't honestly placed a large Ali order in too long. Hence the no mail day videos. All right, I'm done with this wire being on my desk. I take it back. I like the battery one. I hate having USB cable on my desk. Okay. Let's. Oh, JFix. I'm excited for you to. I hope you make a video about that because I want to. Are you joking? Is that? Are you joking? Is that not cured? What is wrong with me? Maybe I'm like 99% sure that was UV resin I put on there and it's just not curing. I wonder if it no, it's not gonna separate. I've never had this issue. Let me, it might be flux. I swear to God. All right, let me get some more. And we can, this is the most annoying setback. I just want to be done with this Kamikaze area. I want to move on to the next step. I'm getting streamer brain or something. Okay, guys, I got this out of the tube, so it's not flux. And my light is on. Proof. My UV resin is gaslighting me for my first stream. I can't believe it. Getting distracted too much by chat. I am an F mask. Someone put I have to be careful. Someone put on my Omnivice video. If Alex sees this, it's gonna be NF Vice. I thought that was funny. Zach the man. Camel, what's up? Kamel, is that it? Apologies to everybody whose name I butcher. It's gonna happen. JFix. Okay, it's cured now, right? Surely. It always looks a little bit like that. Yeah, okay. There's always like a layer. Does anyone know what that is? I know my light is like powerful enough. It like clearly cured it. But like no matter how long I put the UV lamp on, like resin or mask, there's always like this layer on top that is just like shiny that I have to like clean off. I've never understood why that happens. Okay, so now let's get the little flex cable. I have to route this behind it. So this is gonna go on like this. You can see how it lines up. And first I like to make sure this little clock point lines up because it's okay, that's not how much flux I want. Because it's the smallest point, so come on. We need some solder on there, and then a little bit there. Oh, you guys didn't see that. A 3.3 volt area there too. I once almost used coffee instead of alcohol while working. Wait, coffee? Like instead of IPA, you put coffee on the board? How did you manage that? There's no way. Okay. Switching back to my knife tip, my precious knife tip. Who's knife tip gang in chat? This is the goated shape for soldering irons. Soldering iron tips. Changed my mind. All right. That's actually lined up really well. Let's just go for that. That is not a good joint, but we'll come back to it. It's at least gonna stay still. Actually, I'm gonna hit that one more time because I gotta move it down a bit. There we go. Is that gonna be lined up well for the A point? These are the two most annoying points, the clock and the A point. I also need to turn my iron temp down for the A point or else you can burn it. That resistor likes to fry itself if you breathe on it. If you look at it wrong. Okay, I didn't even touch it there. Come on. There we go. That looks nice. I want to make sure this is touching the board. This is just for anchoring. This is not really a point that is needed by the chip. It's just to make sure you don't put stress on that clock via there that we scraped up. Oh, and for this I gotta probably turn my iron temp up a bit because we're soldering on a shield and it's gonna disperse the heat very quickly. Come on, need a bit more solder on my iron. It's very easy to put too much solder on those. Cool. Happy with that. Let's tin the C point here. This is where the .0 wire goes that we soldered to that via further in the board. How often do you fry the A resistor? I honestly don't anymore unless I'll do it on like repairs where I'm repeatedly removing and installing. Because like a lot of the times with repairs, especially more complex repairs, I'll need the Picofly installed in order to read and write to the NAND. So if I need to do like, you know, if there's NAND corruption or something and I need the Picofly installed and I'm removing and installing it a bunch to ensure that, you know, that's not part of the issue. I have definitely, you know, heated it up one too many times before. But nowadays with installs, I don't have issues with that, fortunately. Watch, it's gonna be burnt. That would be funny. I would not laugh, but it would be funny. Alright. Oh, come on. Let me have this wire. Okay, we're gonna get this soldered here. And that is the most nasty looking joint I have ever made. We need more flux on there. Actually, that's better. I'm just gonna put more flux on it. I don't like it. There we go. Look at that. That's much better. Sorry, I didn't catch if you responded last time. Have you tried with the Kamikaze Flex? Oh, I haven't tried that actually. I've seen those. I don't really like the idea of that, to be honest. A little, like, it's a little, I don't know. I guess I won't knock it until I try it. It just seems like, oh, by the way, these are the same rail, so I don't bother if those always just short together when you put this thing on. And it's just the positive voltage rail, so it's not an issue. All right, let's clean this up and we can finish up the install. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I just was gonna reread your same comment. I use them for installs. It's kind of bomb. You like it? I might give it a shot. Is it just like, do you like it because it's just less work than dealing with the wire? By the way, what Meg is talking about is there's, instead of using a wire for this this point here that we just dug through the board for, you still need to dig through the board, but the flex cable has like a little like tail that you can solder directly to the point instead of using a wire. I feel like that's gonna be really finicky, but I know some people like them. Less work, yeah. I can appreciate that. All right, let's get this cleaned. All right, let's see. So much glare, my goodness. Let me try to, I mean, the glare is kind of nice because I can see the flux. I saw a Louis Rossman video recently where he talks about the USB-C compatibility issue. Compatibility issue with what? I didn't see that. What tweezers do you recommend? Boy, do I have a recommendation for you. I am like, someone called me a tweezer junkie on one of my videos, and that could not have been a better name for me. I love tweezers. These are my favorite ones so far. I actually have a link to it in the description of this. Okay, you want to focus or not? In the description of the stream, they're the BST Y23s. These are this and the straight ones. They're really nice because they're really sharp, but they're not too sharp, if you know what I mean. Like if you've ever used like the titanium, like I love these titanium ones that I mentioned in my tool video. These are really, really great, but they're so sharp. And I honestly have steered towards using these for just scraping things. like small vias and things. That's what I was using earlier in the stream. These are like almost as sharp. Let me just show you, but they're more sturdy. If that makes sense. Like it doesn't cross. You know how like sometimes your tweezers will like, if they're too thin and flexible, they'll kind of do this, like cross like that when you're trying to grab something. These don't really do that as much, so they're more durable, but still very sharp. And yeah, I don't know, I love them. They're super nice. Yeah, Badger, I've stabbed myself countless times with my tweezers. It's actually sad how often I do it. What I've started doing is, instead of like this is me getting stabbed waiting to happen. I have to like get used to putting them this way, because what happens is inadvertently I just like put my hand or arm on the table and it goes like 2 inches into my arm. It feels like it, at least. I don't think it actually goes that far. All right, this is decent. I'm happy with this. Sometimes I wish I could just throw everything in the ultrasonic cleaner all the time, but I just can't warrant doing that. It's also like a very bad idea to to just do that all the time. But I hate flux so much. Flux residue makes me sad. Cool, that looks clean enough. I'm happy with that. So let's get this thing assembled. Battle scars. I think they're so sharp, I don't get any scars from them. I might have some scars from my cat, though. I soldered needles to your tweezers? That sounds like an accident waiting to happen. Alright. I'm going to give one last clean here to the SOC die, because, flux and crap gets on it while we're working. And I want to make sure it has good connection. Thermal connection to the shield. And I finally bought like a bunch of different sizes of Kapton tape. I used to just like cut them all the time. And then like I only had like one size that I just cut, but I finally got this. I'll show you guys. I got this like dual tape dispenser, and I have all of the sizes on one dispenser, and it's amazing. And it's like suction cups to my glass desk. Okay, so just gonna add a little thermal paste on here. And we gotta bend the shield. So, oh, by the way, I always use this because this thing gets covered in. Oh, this one's actually not bad. Because I got a new one. My other one this thing was just covered in thermal paste, and so I always used a Kim wipe on it. All right, we gotta bend in this little corner here so we don't short out the clock point. No one wants that. And then here to make room for the ground connection. And then we're going to do down here for the flex cable. That's good. So we got little windows in there. You can see that one there, and then this one here, and that one there. And we can pop this on. Oh, I kind of crushed the B wire a little bit here. Let's pull that out. Cool. Oh, did I forget to bend in the... I may have totally forgot to bend in these clips, because that should clip in better. I thought I did. Let's see. Reason to keep the shield other than heat transfer. It's really primarily for like there's also a bit of space between the. I did bend these in. What? Why didn't that clip on? Maybe I didn't press down hard enough. Yeah, those are fine. Sorry for the bad, what's it called? Focus. Okay, I have to put a little tiny dot again on here. I don't have to do this because I want it to make good connection with this. Yeah, there's space between the, there we go. Heatsink and the die of the SoC. So it's designed in a way that, you know, it's better to have the shield on. And this is like a little copper layer that promotes heat transfer through the shield. And yeah, it does add to cooling because this disperses heat inherently as well. Okay, so let's get the chip on here. Where's my tape? Here it is. Sometimes wish I had a baby anvil for this type of work. What do you mean by that? An anvil? See, this is why I hate thermal paste. I can't stand this. It drives me insane. Because then it gets, as soon as it gets on your gloves, it's on everything. It's on your tools. C210 or C245. I use the smaller C245 tips. I used to use the C210 tips, but honestly, the small C245 tips are like almost as small, at least the ones I have, are almost as small as the C210. What I might get eventually though is one of those irons that's, I can't remember there's the smaller size, like the JBC size that's like super tiny. I can't remember what they call it. I want to try it though. What do you guys mean for baby anvils? For like for shaping metal, like metal shields and stuff, or like what? I actually haven't seen those. So we're gonna plug this in. This is gonna be the clock, that 0, command, and then we've got the, oh, that is not lined up the way I thought it was. Hold up. Let's separate this. Where's my, just want to gently lift up here on this, move it over a little. There we go. Much better. I just needed to line it up so that the SoC flex cable here is lined up. Perfect. And then let me clean this bit of thermal paste on my desk. All right. Whoa. Cerebral. Thank you so much for the membership and the 5 gifted memberships. Man, you're so generous. I really appreciate it. You guys are so kind. Oh, that emoji looks good, JFix. I like that emoji. I haven't seen all my emojis yet. How does this one look? Hold up. Point. That's such a stupid picture of me. I love it. Oh, C. Is that what? Yeah, C115. Yeah. I really want to try that. Those look sick. That's exactly what I was talking about. Sorry, I'm still getting used to switching back and forth between chat. Dude, 5 gifted subs twice. They're actually memberships. I have to like, I don't know, do people just call them subs on YouTube? But dude, thank you. That's really kind of you. All right, let's get some flux on here. I've been so obsessed with those these like little probes. I use them all the time now. I thought I was gonna only use them for like trace repair, but I use them for everything. Like every single time whenever I used to use like one side of tweezers, I instead now use the, okay, that's just not enough flux still though. It's just not, it's spreading out too much to make a good joint. Okay, and we gotta put the B point on here. And to burn through the enamel, I gotta turn my iron up to like 425-ish. So we'll kill two birds with one stone here and solder at the same time as, come on. And scraping a little bit helps. There we go, perfect. And come on. Good. And then I like to make sure this USB thing is flat. And we can clean and test and call it a day. I am so late. I told my my dad's in town. Actually, a lot of my family's in town. And I'm gonna go hang out with them later today. But I was supposed to be there at 5:30, so not sure why I decided to do my first stream ever, like an hour before I was supposed to leave, but here we are. No stress. I'm gonna be with him for all weekend, so. All right. I'm excited though to chill with my family. It's been a bit that people have come up here. All my family's in the U.S., so, but I'm not that far. I'm like, I see them often. It's just, I'm only like about 4 to 5 hours from my hometown. Thanks, Charles. All right, so appreciate that. Did not feel that way in the beginning of the stream. I was like bugging. I don't know why. All right, let's do some diode mode tests here. Thank you, human. Really appreciate that. All right, so red on ground. And make sure this threshold is not something dumb. It's something dumb. I really wish this meter didn't reset every time I restarted it. So we're looking on the top left here. This is my meter, the blue one. The top is my power supply. So we're looking for about 0.4 voltage drop across all these points. So 3.3, yep, 0.4. This one is actually generally a bit lower. This is the clock point, 0.4, perfect. This is command, 0.4, good. This is .0. And I don't think I have a good, I literally just made a whole video about how you need a good ground connection, and I proceed to use a horrible one. So let's try that again. There we go, 0.4. You can see how that's so much more stable now. My reading was jumping all over the place. That's because I was using this shield, which is not actually soldered to ground. It's just screwed onto the board and clipped over the USB-C port. Okay, and then the reset, 0.37, perfect. And then CPU, 0.36. We are looking very solid. Make sure this is all good. Cool, so let's plug this in, power it up. It's a good sign. We got a white light and it's going to flash blue, and we should get a no SD card screen once it flashes green. Or yeah, I think this one flashes green. I can never keep track of these colors on these different chips. There's so many different chips now, and the first one takes forever sometimes. It's always so nerve-wracking. Sometimes it's really fast though, but the chip essentially trains itself for the specific console. This is taking really long though. There we go. Cool, that's good. And then you'll see, like, let's just boot into the official firmware by pressing both power volume. Sorry, not both volume buttons. Good. So I do this because I used to use the V6S chips, the Instinct chips, and thank you, Chipworks, appreciate it. They just I had a whole lot of issues with those. Where like I used to buy them in bulk, and 1 out of like 10 would always just not boot into OFW no matter what. Like it had nothing to do with the installation, and I could never figure it out. I like tried to get refunds for the ones that weren't working, and it was just annoying. So I switched. That's why I switched to the Picofly chips, because the firmware is really easy to find. Lawsuit in the post. we're not we're not speaking that over me. JFix. Do not manifest this. Ugh. Man. Okay, but the second time we boot this, it's going to go faster. You can see it just glitched immediately there. So it basically trains to this specific motherboard. So I am going to call it here because I need to go be with my family who have driven 5 hours and I am neglecting currently. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Yo. It's Dell Laptop Experts. Dude, welcome. Thanks for jumping in on the stream. I love your videos, by the way. You're the bomb. Thank you guys so much for joining. This was a lot of fun. I'm sorry for the people who joined like at the end here. But I'm going to be doing more streams, I think on Thursdays. I'm liking this Thursday afternoon thing. So yeah, I might see you guys next week. I got to figure out like what I'm going to do. But we'll find something. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for the generosity and all that. It's been a lot of fun. And I will... thank you, Dell Laptop Experts. Man, I really appreciate it. Cool. I will talk to you all later. I'll see you next week. And probably sooner in a video. But yeah, peace, guys.